Yes. And speaking of that,
Well, anyway, I guess
I got your back, buddy.
I'll need your recording.
Okay.
um, anyway, I thought this article was a really good one here because it said Bitcoin is a good bet for millennials, and says a bullish strategist, Tom Lee. It really is, and it couldn't come at a better time for the entire pension system, which we'll talk about in a little bit as we get going. So let's get started in here, and let's go ahead and play this little video I like. This is really good. I think it just, embodies what we're doing with Bitcoin. It really expresses well what the Bitclub is doing. Pay close attention to the concept of the fact that when you buy coins and you're in a trading market or a volatile market like we are now, you can really lose a lot of money. Short period of time, as people see right now. Anybody who bought a coin at $19,000 probably feels like they've lost a lot of money. Now, I don't believe they have over the long term, but a lot of people that buy and sell are traders and they want short-term profits, so they're not in it for the long haul. But with the Bitclub, we don't have that problem. And they mention that in here, and it's a really good concept to learn about. And if you don't understand what they're talking about, be sure to ask questions about it so we can clarify it in your own mind. So let's go ahead and play this. This is a 6-minute video. And after that, we'll get into the rest of the presentation.
Evolution is constant, even though we might not always pay attention until the big change has taken place. This goes for all areas of life, with almost no exception. One of the biggest changes in the history of modern society is right in front of us, right among us, and this time it will not go unnoticed. Let's go back to 2008, when the financial crisis hit the world economy, which started a major distrust towards the financial, monetary, and banking system. This crisis led to the creation of the first cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. Bitcoin rapidly opened the door to a completely new financial market, allowing faster, cost-effective, and more secure transactions, eliminating the need for third parties and middle hands. Bitcoin had an incredible increase in value between 2008 and 2013, where the price of a single Bitcoin went from 10 US cents to over 1,100 US dollars. Many self-proclaimed experts said it would never go above that price ever again. When people don't have the understanding or the knowledge about something, they are often proven wrong. With Bitcoin, this is certainly the case. Today, no one could possibly have missed Bitcoin's constant increase in value, the price reaching new heights every single day. We see articles pointing out the progress and how Bitcoin becomes more and more established. Governments are issuing full acceptance of Bitcoin and declaring it as real money.
I think it is working.
Influential individuals such as Richard Branson and Bill Gates, only to name a few, are very positive about Bitcoin and the constant development of the entire cryptocurrency industry. All major economies in the world are following the trend of cryptocurrency and the blockchain technology. They cannot ignore the fact that it is here to stay. The future of money is already here. The value of future money will not be directed by the government and Federal Reserve, but based on supply and demand. During many years, Bitcoin suffered from a lot of skepticism, hatred, negative press, and got associated with criminal activities. Today, the picture is different, pointing out possibilities of bringing positive change to the global economy and societies around the world. Not only beneficial for the Western world with an already established banking system, but also for the developing countries and the unbanked adult population, which have been set aside and without access to the current banking system. Bitcoin paved the way for many other followers within the cryptocurrency industry, such as Ethereum, Dashcoin, Monero, and Litecoin. But the fact remains that Bitcoin was the first, and today is the most established cryptocurrency. It is fully tradable and widely accepted as a means of payment. The awareness of Bitcoin has grown, and yet many of us are still asking, how can I get my hands on Bitcoin? Today, there are many ways to set up your own e-wallet and to buy or trade Bitcoins on the market. A lot of people enter different exchanges and buy Bitcoins. They can then start to trade their coins. It can be both profitable or risky, as the price is volatile, moving up and down. You can also have a long-term strategy and wait for the right moment to sell. Or you can spend the coins. But how do the multi-million investors access Bitcoins? They are mining Bitcoins through a large setup of servers, which provides more Bitcoins for a lower cost. The efficiency is different depending on the size and capacity of the mining park. With this structure, the investors are getting a daily share of the global mining, which is taking place every second, every day. The total amount of Bitcoins mined globally is approximately 1,800 BTC per day. The competition is tough, and it is almost impossible for the average person to access and take advantage of the growth. That is, until now. You are now presented with the opportunity to take part of one of the 10th largest Bitcoin mining pools in the world, which is constantly improving in capacity and speed. When participating in this pool, you can buy shares, which provide you with the equipment necessary to mine your future Bitcoins. No technical skills or prior experience needed. The actual mining process will be carried out by people with the right expertise and knowledge, and with a proven successful track record of 3 years. What can you expect when mining Bitcoins in the pool? In a conservative calculation, without promises or guarantees, we can expect that the shares we buy today, tailored according to our personal preferences, will in the coming 2.5 to 3 years produce around 2 to 3 times the Bitcoins. On top of that, another interesting point is of course the future price of one single Bitcoin. An increase in value of the coin will also affect the results for all participants of this mining pool. The big difference between a bought and a mined Bitcoin is that if you buy Bitcoins on the market and the price is volatile, you will lose as soon as the price is going down. However, with a mined Bitcoin, you can still break even if the price is going down. This opportunity of long-term growth is open to thousands and maybe millions of people. To keep a professional approach, and in order to secure correct and truthful information, taking part of this mining pool is by invitation only. We believe that through a growing network of people and growing mining capacity, everyone who is taking part of this global Bitcoin mining pool will also increase their shares. The more shares, the larger the facility and capacity to mine more Bitcoins for all of us. Bitcoin mining is transparent, and everyone can follow all transactions and the percentage of the global Bitcoin mining of this specific mining pool. Last but not least, to our existing members of our mining pool, we are once in a while offering the members the exclusive opportunity to be part of very profitable GPU mining, where the members can mine Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, Dashcoin, Monero, and Zcash. The structure of the pool started with a few people coming together to draw mutual benefits, and we continue to honor the principle that together, everyone always achieves more. Please get back to the person who shared this information to get all your questions answered. See you in the mining pool.
One of the things we really want to talk about too before we get back to the end of the presentation is the idea that there's something wrong with Bitcoin associated with.
John, you need to unmute yourself.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, you know, I need a reminder, a little flashy thing in front of me to remind me to do that. Put my timer on. One of the other things we need to talk about is the idea that we still keep hearing, well, I guess for a lot of people it's just so new and they're still listening to the regular news, you know. Those of us in the operation and involved with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies know that it's not a scammy kind of a program, but you still have to prove it to people. And really the easiest way I found to prove it to people is just to show them that there's something called a Bitcoin IRA. It's important because the IRAs and the 401ks are generally what you call retirement vehicles. They're not necessarily what we technically call qualified plans. Those would be pension plans and profit sharing plans and things like that, which really don't exist much anymore. Everything has kind of gone into the IRA format or the 401k format. But that being said, it's still a government-run program, and they consider that a benefit. They're giving you the opportunity to defer some of your so-called income, and so that you don't have to pay any taxes on it until you actually withdraw it. In reality, you end up paying far more in taxes than if you just paid the tax initially, but people don't see that. They see the accumulation over time. But when they debase the dollar constantly, and they constantly inflate it, and they're going to inflate it. This is a stated policy, Fed policy. They're going to deflate it 30% off the bat, and then there's going to be another 30 to 60% deflation in a short period after that. So every dollar you save is going to be worth less in the future than it is now, and there's no way you're going to be able to get any interest. So the idea is putting Bitcoin in there because it's going up faster than anybody can earn interest anywhere, that it's going to make you more money. Well, not really, because you stuffed it into the government program, which forces it into a tax situation, and a situation may never be taxed. So the thing that you want to use this for is to show that you can't put scams in a government program. They don't allow it. So anybody who says it's a scam right off the bat, you can show them, well, listen, it's allowed in IRAs and 401ks, therefore it can't be a scam because the government has approved what can go into those programs. See, that's the point these people just never think about or talk about because nobody tells them. Nobody brings it up, so you can. Now, in addition to that, this is on the front page of Bitcoin IRA. You don't have to go any deeper into the website at all. Right on the front page is a quote from Barron's, which is, and the Wall Street Journal, which are two of the most respected financial publications in the world. Everybody in the financial world reads these things. All right, so Barron's says Bitcoin is a red-hot asset that's now being used as a retirement investment. Wall Street Journal says the world's hottest asset is the newest way to invest for retirement. That's the point. This is one of the best places for long-term growth of Bitcoin and savings and to protect yourself because pensions are going down. Pensions are going totally bye-bye. Now, just go to Google and you Google pension crisis and look at this. When I first started doing this, I was doing research to see if anybody was really paying attention, and I was going over searching Google keywords, things like that. And there was nothing. Under the term pension crisis, there was nothing. Even under the term retirement crisis, there was almost nothing. There were maybe 4 or 5 searches going on. That was it. They were specific to states, Ohio, Illinois, and Connecticut. Now look, this is just a couple months later, and now there's 695,000 videos showing up just on the pension crisis. And I mean, this is a big, big deal that nobody knows about again. I was talking to a fellow last weekend, and I said, are you aware, because I know he's got a retirement plan from PERS, California, and I said, do you know that PERS is beginning to cut pensions for people? They're going, cutting them as much as 60%. And he said, no. He says, but mine's CalPERS. It's not PERS, CalPERS. What do you think? It's PERS, PERS, Public Employee Retirement System. And so right in the thing, right here, this lady is the lady who had that we talk about all the time. Meet the retirees of CalPERS. Right there. See that? See CalPERS? Poor fellow. He doesn't know what he's looking in for. Anyway, he was bragging about how he was making more money in retirement than he was making one before. Well, she got $49,000 as a pension, and she's been taking it for a while. All of a sudden, they send her a letter, and she's getting $19,000 now, just like that. Turns out we're obligated to make those payments into these programs, these contributory payments, and so are the funding. But the government's not obligated to pay you. Isn't that an interesting thing? And right here on the front, you can listen to Kaiser Report. He talks about the pension crisis, and right here. Look at these people in Ohio, right here, crowds marching because of the pension crisis that's going on. This is a big, big thing. It's going to create a huge problem for the entire country. This doesn't include anything from the federal government that's involved with Social Security, Medicare, Medi-Cal, all of the unfunded mandates and the government pensions included. That's military and everybody else. I think they'll still probably pay the military, probably the police funds. But I doubt they're going to be paying everybody else. Now, what does that mean for the economy? It means that at some point, about 50% of the money that's coming into all of the communities is going to go bye-bye. Now, when that goes bye-bye, what do you think happens to the businesses that were depending upon all those customers to come in and buy their goods and services? That means the businesses are going to go bye-bye. Listen, we're heading for a really weird future. I mean, you've got the robotics coming up on the one hand, and the manufacturing and production side, and even in the title area, the blockchain's coming in. It's going to be get involved in insurance, just all kinds of things where people just aren't going to be needed anymore. As a matter of fact, I was looking at a great video. I asked Andy to send it to us, but he showed us where in McDonald's now there is no, you go into a McDonald's overseas and there's nobody there to talk to. You have a screen, and if James is around, maybe he's got the link for that, and we can put it up and find it. Anyway, you punch your order in yourself. You don't need somebody standing there to do it for you, and that's it. You're done. You don't have to deal with anybody. Okay, so let's go on ahead and go through the program a little bit. This is our masthead for our pension program. Pension program. Yeah, it is our pension program, come to think of it. That's exactly correct. Listen, what we're trying to do here is support a team. We've got a bunch of people that work with us, and we've started a team growing, and we're here to support that team. And if they've referred you here, we want you to get back to that person. Always get back to the person that referred you. In any event, here's our website. This is a website you can send anybody to. It's a generic site, and here's our Skype information right there. Sometimes you need to get in touch with us or have a question, or whoever referred you, you're trying to find them, whatever. Just contact us. We'll ask you who referred you and try to find the person that's proper. This is our Facebook page here, Bitclub Network Global Leaders. That's the name of it right there. So you can, anybody can come over there and join that program. Okay, we make every effort to ensure that we accurately represent the products and services of Bitclub and the potential for economic gain. Earnings or Bitcoin cash flow statements made by the company or members are estimates of what you can possibly receive. There is no guarantee that you will make these levels of Bitcoin, and you accept the risk that earnings and Bitcoin income possibilities differ by individual. The examples are not to be interpreted as any guarantee, promise, representation, or assurance, and we do not purport Bitclub as being a get-rich-quick scheme, because it certainly is not. Hang on just a minute. Did I pass that up? I sure did. Let's move that back. Okay, Bitcoin started in 2008, as most people know. New people probably are just learning that fact. And in 2009, the first transactions occurred, and that launched the whole thing with the global digital currency that is decentralized, and one person control it. There's no president. There's no place you can contact and say, hey, I want more information, or unless you're dealing with somebody that's involved with it, you can't write the president and say, I don't like what you're doing, change that. You know, that kind of thing. That's exactly what we want. We want free money that's neutral in all situations, and nobody's controlling it for their advantage. Bitcoin is sent directly from person to person. You don't have to go through a third party, so we don't need banks anymore. So it's safe, it's fast, because the funds are either with you or they're with the person that you're sending them to. But you got to realize it is cash as a sort. It is, if you hand the wrong person some cash on the street, or you pay somebody who improperly for some goods or services you want, and it's not the right person, the money's gone. So you got to be careful. You want to double check who you're sending it to and check your addresses and stuff, because it's cash, really. Anyone can set up a Bitcoin account. It's just an app you download from the internet. There's no age restrictions because there's no banking here, right? We're not establishing a contractual relationship with any organization. No fees, no chargebacks, and no borders. And that's the best part. You're going to see why in a little bit. But the fact is that a Bitcoin here is a Bitcoin everywhere else. Now, there's some difference in prices. Right now, there's a 30% premium over in Korea. They're running higher than that, and Zimbabwe was running as high as a 100% premium. It was double the amount everybody else was paying, simply because it was so valuable down there to get their hands on it. So everybody uses Bitcoin nowadays. I say everybody kind of loosely. The powers that be, they're aware of it. Also, the major retailers are aware of it. And we're going to talk about that in a minute too. Everybody's online all the time. People used to say, well, what if I can't get online? I can't get my coins. And, well, what if you're online? You can't get your bank either. If you're going to go make a payment, oh man, it's time. I didn't make the payment. I got to make the payment. I got to get online. I can't get online. Oh, what am I going to do? That kind of thing. but we really don't need them for daily operations anymore. PayPal, Citibank, MoneyGram, they're just third-party sources that act as intermediaries to control what we do. And it's just not necessary. And I don't want to be controlled anyway. And notice this number. In 2014, global remittances were $54 billion. $54 billion that should have been kept in our pockets. And they weren't, because we had to get permission. Think about this. Every time you go to a convenience store and you swipe a card and you want to get some water, there is somebody approving that you can have that water. If they turn you off, you can't have the water, can you? I don't want to be turned off. And that's one of the reasons for Bitcoin. Now, you still may need some cards. I don't think cards are going to be the long-term thing. I think the phone is going to be probably your bank completely. But you can get a BitPay card. It'll give you a Visa card. As a matter of fact, James used that yesterday when we were in Coco's up in Pasadena. It went right through. He handed him the BitPay card, and they brought the receipt. He signed off on it. That way, it was all done. Really great. Zappo is another one, and I think they have a card that allows you to put coins on it, and they don't convert it until you actually use it. BitPay converts it immediately to dollars. Now, here's probably the most complicated part of this little presentation here, because we want to talk about what miners are. Nobody seems to know what a miner is. When it was originally started, they had to get the transactions going. So the guys that invented it were doing the so-called mining process themselves, but they couldn't keep up with that. They were developers, and they had to spread it. They had to create these teams of people that will go out there and actually handle all the transactions. That's what a miner does. So we call them miners because they're getting an award. They're actually doing work. They're spending money on electricity and equipment, and they're doing work. They're solving mathematical problems. And when they got a block done, what's a block? A block is nothing more than an entry into a ledger. The ledger is what we call a blockchain. We're calling it a blockchain because we just call that 10-minute entry a block. Call it a chain because it's continuous. Right? It just continues to run, but it's decentralized in that the nodes all around the earth, hundreds of thousands of computers out there have the nodes, and they all have to agree. That's how we get consensus. And you do that through what's called a gossip protocol. They all talk to each other simultaneously, and they all compare notes. And as long as all the ledgers agree, it's a valid transaction. So in order to get the miners to do that, they had to give them a reward. So what was done is that as they processed them and you created the block, and it's competitive now, these people were competing for this, they would get a 50 Bitcoin award in those days. After 4 years, that was cut in half to 25, and after another 4 years, which is the 8th year, it was cut in half again, and that was July 2016. So you're really at the very beginning of this technology. Don't think you're late or you missed the boat to get into this program, because you're certainly not. Back in the year 8 there, the Bitcoin was about $400. Now notice, the gold line here shows that it's a deflationary program. They release fewer and fewer coins over time. The last coin will be released up here in 2140. It's going to take that long. I'll be 192 years old at that point, and I'll creakily welcome the new year on 2140. Now, there's only a max of 21 million Bitcoins, and this is one of the very, very big benefits.
Turn off my computer so I can listen to what you have to say. Hold on one second.
Who's talking to who?
It's okay. Go ahead.
Okay. There's only 21 million coins, and that is absolutely great because it's scarce. Now, we're creating scarcity in two ways. One is a maximum number of coins, and we're releasing them slowly into the marketplace. So as demand goes up right here and usage goes up, that forces the price up, right? And we've already seen the price go from zero almost to $20,000. It actually hit as high as $20,000. Now the market's correcting. You get all the scammers and the other people out of the market, which is a good thing. And the day traders, bye-bye guys, see you later. And the market will get back on a natural path and begin resuming its march. But the future is very bright for this, and it's a place to go, and it's a way to save yourself from economic ruin as the rest of the economy and the world goes down the tubes. So I'm all on board with it. Now, why is Bitclub a little bit different? Well, there's 3 different ways to mine. You can set up a computer system yourself, and you can set up many of them, create the mining, have them solve the mathematical problems. And there's a problem here. As the usage goes up and the calculations go up, that have to be done. That's called the difficulty, and that's to kind of slow the computers down a little bit. Well, you need bigger, stronger, faster computers to generate more power so you can solve those problems faster, because you're competing for the coins. Right now, that's 1,800 coins a day available, and all the miners are competing for those coins. And Bitclub is a miner. So if you want to be a miner, you can set up your own machine and you can do that, but your machine will run out of power and you're going to be paying a lot of electricity for a machine that's not going to generate hardly anything. So it won't pay for itself. So you got to buy more machines. You got to invest more money. Well, it's just not practical for an average person to do that anymore. The other kind of miner is a cloud miner. You can buy their hash rate. You can actually go in and buy some of their hash power, and you can use that for a temporary period of time. And it can generate some pretty significant coin for you. But there comes a point when that's over, and you got to get back in. You're going to get back in at the same price? No, probably not. Why? Because they've got to have more computers. It costs them more money to run the company. It's the same problem you solve as an individual, but just on a larger scale. What the Bitclub has done is created an environment in which we all pull together in this one mine. It's one large pool that we all own. We contribute our economic value into the machines, and we are part owner of that pool. And so what they did was they said, well, we don't really want to have people keep coming up after their own pocket, out of their pocket, to keep buying new machines all the time. So what we're going to do is everybody's going to pay a portion of that fee when they join for operation of the pool, and then there'll be an ongoing fee that comes from the mining that they do. All right, so a portion of that, everybody pays that small part. So there's no debt. We own everything. Don't have to worry about any financing contracts or interest arrangements or anything like that. The second thing they do is they set up a repurchase arrangement, because each contract does have a finite life. Each contract runs about 1,000 days. But these big Bs in these contracts, this share that you get in the pool, allows you to produce partial shares. And these are the little Bs down here. Now, every time you get a little B, which happens every so many days, it adds up to a full share. And so you end up, these all have 1,000 days of mining contract in them too, right? So you end up getting full shares. And these pancake, you see, because they keep building up and they build up and they build up and they build up. So you build the mining power within your own pools, but it comes from the mining that you're doing. So you have the choice of building your mining power, or building some of the mining power, but taking some Bitcoin out, or taking all the Bitcoin out. It's up to you. You have total control of doing that. That's what makes us quite different. And it makes it easy for people to get involved with the Bitcoin operation. Now listen to this, it's very important. There's a point that they made in that video that we talked about where everybody can break even if they're mining, as opposed to going out and buying Bitcoin, which you can lose. There can be some period of time where you're going to be in the red. You can't do that here, because once you've recovered the cost of your pools that you bought through the mining process, everything from then on out is pure profit. It doesn't matter what the price of the coin is, because the process is going to continue, because the mining doesn't care what the market is doing. All the mining operation cares is we're processing the transactions, we're generating the Bitcoin, and it's being distributed to the members. That's it. That's this whole program. This is a very safe, quiet, easy way to generate Bitcoin for the long haul. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is a program that you want to put in for your retirement. This is a program you want to build a college education fund for your kids. You want to have a home fund for the future. All of the basic things that you used to save money for can be accomplished through the Bitclub program. Okay? So we're very proud to have it. Now, there's some opposing views. Some people say, well, look, let's go to the stock market. You know, well, you see what just happened in the crypto coins market, the crash, right? Well, they're talking about how great the stock market is. Well, they just don't. People have short memories. They don't remember. Back in 92, 93, there was a 50% crash. You know, the funds that could never fail failed. The Magellan Fund. Nobody talks about the Magellan Fund. Nobody talks about the 44 Wall Street Fund. They're not around anymore. Why? They went out of business because their managers messed up, and the best funds on the earth failed. Okay? That's because they were being manipulated again. You got to understand what happens in the markets. That's why we love Bitcoin, because nobody can control it like that. All right? So the simple market forces are pretty much what's involved with what's going on. So the other option is let's go trade. Let's get into stock. Let's get trading. Let's go to forex. You can trade stocks. You can trade currency. Everything like that. Again, that's pretty risky stuff, and that's why I'm talking about like the day traders are being cleared out of the markets right now because they misjudged it, and they're probably hurting pretty bad. Another thing you can do is just to go ahead and buy some metal, buy some silver, buy some gold. You know, it's not really usable anymore. That's pretty old technology. It's been around for 5,000 years. It'll probably always be some form of a storehouse of value, but the Bitcoin solved that problem so much easier, and it's very usable. And you know, in case you've got to move from point A to point B, have you ever picked up a $500 worth of silver? It's not light. You can't move that stuff around very easy, and if you got to move and you got to go someplace, or you got a hurricane, like my friend, that his stuff was 17 feet underwater. His office was in New Orleans, and the hurricane came through and flooded. He couldn't get anything. He couldn't get at anything. The banks weren't working. He didn't have any access to his funding. He couldn't get access to any of this gold and silver either, because it was buried underwater and he couldn't get there. So the other alternative people talk about, well, why don't we just buy the Bitcoins and hang on to them? Okay, that's a great idea, because the Bitcoins will have a strong increase in value over time. But 5 years from now, you still got the same number of coins. You want more. You want to get as much as you can. Now listen, right now is a very important time because you can actually get whole Bitcoins. Seriously. In the future, you're never going to get whole Bitcoins. You're only going to get pieces of a Bitcoin, millibits of a Bitcoin, because of the high value that's there. You remember, we got 21 million coins and the whole world is really rushing to Bitcoin. There's a massive economy being built right now that you're not seeing because you're here in the United States. You're not seeing what's going on in Asia. You're not seeing what's going on in Australia and Europe and Sweden and Switzerland. This is a massive movement towards Bitcoin to build this Bitcoin economy. You're really at the very beginning. So you want to, if you want to go buy some coins, fine, but you're really better off getting established in the mind, getting that process going, and then using some of that coin maybe in order to take some positions and buy some coin that way down the future. So that's what we say to do. The best thing to do is get the goose that lays the golden eggs. If you own the mine, your break-even point comes very quickly, and everything that you get from there on out is just pure profit. So that's fantastic. Now this is a chart that you can find over on blockchain.info. It's very easy to find. It's color and it's round. All the other charts aren't. So you go to blockchain.info, you click on stats, and if we got enough time, I'll even go back over there and do that today, because sometimes I go do that. You can actually walk right into the BitClub wallet and see exactly what they're doing. It's another thing. It's very transparent. You can see everything that happens within the system involving blockchain. These are the companies that have been investing all this time, all along since 2012, trying to find ways to capitalize on the blockchain technology and possibly control the Bitcoin. Believe me, these banks and these companies are very worried about Bitcoin because it is a bank extinction event in terms of dealing with us and our everyday business. And we need to get them out of our business. They don't belong in our business. There are a lot of things they can do to deal with actual big businesses and perform functions for them. We don't need them anymore. So they didn't tell you about this stuff, did they? Well, they don't want you to know about it, and they're doing everything they can to try to stop. I actually saw a letter that was generated by a bank telling a guy that they were going to cancel his account because he was violating their policy because he was buying and selling some coins on Coinbase, which is an exchange. This is the whole ecosystem. It's composed of software companies, mining companies. See, these guys all overlap. Hardware companies that make all the stuff that we use to do the mining with. Custodians where you can hold your coins. Coinbase was the one I just mentioned. And then there's exchanges where you can buy, sell, and trade if you want to do that and make a market. And then there's all these ancillary companies that are using Bitcoins and cryptocurrencies in order to perform functions that a lot of our other companies do right now. You know, like banking system. One of the ones that BitClub is coming out with is called CoinPay, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. Here's the phone. Everything can be done on the phone. Your bank is in your hand. It's on your phone. It's in your wallet. You don't have to have a computer. And that's the great thing about 2.5 billion people that don't have any banking right now. They're going to come on board. What do you think is going to happen to the price of Bitcoin when those guys come on board? All of a sudden, you're going to have a massive inflow of activity, which is really going to push up the price of the Bitcoin. So when I talk about a long-term event that'll exceed our lifetimes, I'm serious about that. It's the only newest thing. It's the change in a way we can't even imagine the changes. Let me just put it that way. All I know is a lot of people are going to, be out of work because robots are taking over and the blockchain is taking over the management, a lot of those functions. So it's time to pay attention and let the people know. Now, let me just prove to you why the value of Bitcoin is going to continue to go up. Look, the value of the coin is based on the amount of dollars that's flowing through the blockchain, the Bitcoin system. In 2014, 88.9 billion was the amount that Amazon had through it, and they paid 3% transaction fees at $2.6 billion a year. That's credit cards and stuff like that. Well, see, that's going to go bye-bye. If they get rid of that, that doubles their profit right off the bat, just by making the change of getting rid of the debit cards and the credit cards and going into the cryptocurrency. You think they're going to do that? Yeah, of course they're going to do that. It only makes sense to do that. It also makes it easier for people to buy things. So what will happen is that $89 billion, probably way in excess of that now, will be flowing through the blockchain. When it does, it's going to add another $6,300 to the value of the coin. So if you've got a $10,000 coin, you add $6,000 on top of that, you got a $15,000 coin, right? Even higher. When it was up at $20,000, think of that. You had it over $25,000 coin, just by the addition of the additional funds running through. That's going to happen. You talk about remember I talked about the global 2014 global fees of being $54 billion? Well, that's this stuff. That's the 4% to the 20% charges. That's 2014. That was $600 billion of money flowing into around the world in the banking system. And that's what that's called. That's people, that's families, that's businesses, that's people getting goods and services all over like that. Well, if you add that 600 billion into the blockchain technology and you add it on to the Bitcoin surface, you're adding another $42,800 on top of that. So now we've got over a $50,000 coin. You see this? This is just one or two industries. Gambling adds a couple thousand. It's really no big deal. Gas stations a big deal. $234 billion flowing through back in that time period, right? Now, that $234 billion, you add that ends $34,000. You're over $100,000 a coin. It's just that simple. And this is going to happen fast. This is not going to be a slow thing. So even mining small bits of Bitcoin make a huge difference. And it's very easy to get into the program. You can get into this program and start it very easily with a $100 one-time membership fee and one pool, a $500 pool, and you're in. Get started. Look at gaming systems. You think people play games? My gosh, they play games. I'm not a gamer, but I can tell you everybody around me plays games all the time, and they take Bitcoin to do the online gaming stuff. That's a lot of money. And look at all these markets we didn't even talk about: network marketing, organic products, movie industry, video gaming, all that kind of stuff. All of that money is going to be flowing through cryptocurrency, and Bitcoin is going to have a big part of it. So what do you think the numbers are going to be? If you just take 1% of the asset base of the United States and put that into the value of the Bitcoin, you're talking over $1 million a coin. The gold market is somewhere between $700 trillion and $900 trillion. If you just get 1-2% of the gold market, and you think the gold money is going to stay in gold when they can use Bitcoin and it's so much easier and better to use and it's a storehouse of value that's better than gold, right now, even with the crash, you can still buy 4 or 5 ounces of gold for 1 Bitcoin. So do you think the money's going to stay in gold? Besides, there's gold inflation coming. China has found some tremendous mines, gold mines it's doing. It's already started production. It says it's going to be in production for more than 40 years is the estimate. And they're going to get about 4 ounces of gold per ton, which is huge, huge. I mean, 1% is even fantastic. People, they're happy to get, right? So you're going to have a lot more gold on the market. It's just not going to be a storehouse of value. It's just going to be a shiny rock that has some interesting characteristics down the road. Because we don't need it. It's not really useful for us anymore. Okay, CoinPay. Let's get to CoinPay. CoinPay is something that's coming out after the first of the year. It's a merchant payment system that if you're a member of Bitclub, you get to participate in. And the basic idea is that you can use your crypto coins to pay a merchant, but the merchant doesn't necessarily want your crypto coins. Maybe he wants US dollars. Maybe he wants pesos. It doesn't really matter. Maybe he wants a different coin than you have. You can use CoinPay to pay him. He can use the CoinPay system to get what he wants. It automatically internally converts and pays him what he wants to get, right? So you don't have to go through any conversion from your coin. It's a maximum 1% cost to the merchant. He pays a $399 fee to set it up, which is an advertising fee. It's a lifetime advertising fee. People are becoming very mobile. So if you're going to go someplace, wouldn't you like to know who the CoinPay merchants are in that area that you're going to? Well, that's what that fee is for, is to put them on. You as a member can go out and refer other people to the club, and you get paid for that. You get 50% of that 1% transaction, 50 basis points, for as long as he uses it. Okay, and that'll be paid through the system, through the matrix. All right, to get started with BitClub, all you got to do again is the $99 membership and come up with $500 to get your first pool, and you're in and off and running. And this is the main position we have. It's called a founder position, and it's got some perks. If you come in all at once with the founder position of $3,500 plus the $100 membership fee, you get founder bonuses. Right now, they're giving away $1,000 CoinPay shares, and that's going to have real value because it's leading to a profit sharing system with the CoinPay system, and eventually it'll be sold to a multi-billion-dollar corporate transaction, because it's disruptive. They're going to want to come in and buy it. And if you've got shares, you'll be able to participate in that. But you don't have to come into the founder position. You can start over here with the $500 pool, and you can work your way up to the rest of it. You can actually use the mining in here to help you acquire these other pools. So by no means are you out of it. You don't have to worry about coming up with $10,000, $12,000, $20,000 to buy a coin. You just don't. All right, so let's open it up for questions and answers at this point and see if anybody has anything they'd like to talk about.
Okay, thank you very much. Hey, we have a special guest in the house.
Really?
Welcome home, Mr. Nakashima. Yes, we do.
Wow. Hey, Andy.
Let me get him unmuted. Hey, Andy, can you hear us? I mean, are you with us?
Can you hear me now?
You sure can.
Yeah, welcome back.
You cut me off guard. Kathy. I was looking in, just listening to you guys and see how well you guys are doing.
Well, I was hoping you'd come in and kind of give us some words of wisdom of, what you learned on these little trips you've been taking all over the world, talking to all the people. 5,000 people at a meeting. My gosh, we can't imagine that over here. You guys were in Japan. You had thousands of people showing up. I mean, we're struggling to get, a couple hundred to get going.
You're right. You're right. You're so right about that. And the biggest difference, I think, is because of the government support that they have in Europe or in the Asia. For example, like in places like Korea and in Japan, they recognize the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as alternate currencies.
Yeah.
They can't depend on the current situation with the fiat currencies, and they want to make sure that there is something that people can work with, from government side. And naturally, because the government is working with that, there is a tax consequences, but people are willing to do that because it is a global currency that they don't have to worry about, whether their country is going to go broke.
That's a good point.
And that's happening a lot in the European countries right now, and in Russia.
Boy,
we are picking up business like crazy in Russia right now, and also in Africa. Different reasons, but in the case of Russia is because they want currencies that they could hold on to. That, like you mentioned about the silver earlier.
Sure.
I don't want to carry a suitcase full of paper money into Russia. But I'm telling you though, when they do come to the meeting, they are bringing in a suitcase full of paper money. And the guys are getting stuck with the paper money. Say, what are we going to do with this?
Yeah, what are they going to do with it?
Yeah, I know they have to convert it, and that's the hard part. But they're managing. And in the case of Africa, it's totally opposite. In case of Africa, is that they just don't have an access to a bank, and they don't want to leave the money at home because there's a possibility that they could get robbed. As a matter of fact, a few months ago, Ross himself almost got robbed in Africa. What happened was that he was at the meeting, and there was about 150 people at this meeting in South Africa. And, he was talking about the opportunity and how great the BitClub is. And all these people were just going crazy and saying, wow, this is great. This is an opportunity for us. And after the meeting, he was with a couple of the leaders from the South Africa going back to the hotel. Well, there was one car full of four gentlemen following Ross in his car. Mm-hmm. And what happened when they pulled up next to the car, And the driver goes, hey guys, we might have a problem. We might have a trouble. So you guys be prepared. And Russ is going, wow, what's going on here? Then next thing you know, this car pulled up, it's just like in a movie, put up in front of the car that Russ was in and came out with the gun.
Oh my God.
And yeah, they floored the car going backwards and spin it around and took off.
Wow.
But what I'm trying to say is that, it is becoming so popular, but it's in positive and a negative. Because it's getting so popular that there are people looking at opportunities to rob people, but at the same time, it's the opposite end, is that it's giving an opportunity for the people, even the poorest people in Africa, an opportunity to earn money, and at the same time, have something that they could hold on to that they don't have to worry about getting stolen, like the paper money or gold or silver that they have to keep somewhere. Because it's in the cell phone.
And over half the world is unbanked, so this is a perfect solution.
It is. And also the application of it, right? I mean, you heard about in the African countries, they are using the Bitcoin to store the birth certificate information. And it's not done by the government, but it's done by the individuals who's working with the different organizations, nonprofit organizations are doing that.
Well, the blockchain is the perfect place to store information like that.
It is, isn't it?
I'm hearing about our credentials, like who we are and all the information about us. If we want to go around the world, it's easier to have it in the blockchain than it is anywhere else, because that way nobody can hold it hostage from you. Like
exactly.
your degrees and stuff, that once it's outside, you've gotten your degrees and it's locked into the blockchain, then it can't ever be taken from you, and it can't be hidden from you using it in the future someplace.
Correct. And, that's the part that most people don't recognize at the point. When you mentioned about the amateurs coming in and buying the Bitcoins, and some of them might be losing money right now, They don't realize the Bitcoin is not just the money. That's only about 5% of what the Bitcoin purpose is. Mm-hmm. But more detail on the Bitcoins or any of the cryptocurrency that's the real coins are how they store the information and how they could transact the information from one computer basically to another, one person to another, peer to peer. And that's what creates the value.
It's been called that we're in the information age in the United States, that's what we produce as information. But you know what? All we see from our government is manipulation of the people with the use of that information.
It is.
And by having the blockchain and the cryptocurrencies, then we're out from under that problem.
Yeah, and just recently I was in the Europe and also in Asia, and I heard something that was really, really neat. That what's going on in the blockchain. The drone technology right now. It's not just the little drone with the camera that's flying around. They are working with the actually car-size drones that's going to replace the tires.
What?
What?
The tires?
Yes. There's going to be cars with no tires.
Flying cars.
Yes, sir. They are working on the, these cars now. And what's really neat about it is that they're using a blockchain. Because by using a blockchain technology for the GPS and controlling each one of the cars, you're never going to have them crash.
That's
and
true.
There's no more rush hours. Because why? Because instead of going wide on the freeway, they're stacked up, straight up.
Oh.
Isn't that neat?
I never thought about that.
Yeah. So they have the cars going stack up, almost like a bunk beds. Yeah. You got a bunch of bunk beds around.
You can certainly use that in places like Denver and LA.
Oh, definitely. And they are working on that concept as far as the programming for the technology to go into the cars, and also for the drone technology to be working with the blockchain. Isn't that neat? So
it's neat, Andy. It just scares me a little bit too sometimes, as long as we can keep the government from controlling it, because I don't want a car that's going to go home if I did miss a payment, or I don't want a car that's going to deliver me.
John, yeah, the worst case is you go rob the bank and you get in your car and it takes you right to the police station.
Yeah. Of course, there wouldn't be anything in the bank for us.
That's true, because it's all in the Bitcoin.
Blockchain, right.
Yes. But, so, there's so many different technologies that's being worked on right now. And Mercedes and Lexus are working with the concept of using your facial recognitions, so you don't even need keys to get into your car. And that's on a blockchain technology as well. So you buy a car, you purchase a car, and they do your photos with your facial recognitions, fingers, and so whatnot. And that goes into the blockchain. You're making a very small, minimal amount transaction into the blockchain. It's recorded. Now, your car information is recorded at the same time with you. And next time you walk up to that particular car, it's going to recognize you, and the car is going to open. It's going to recognize you and start your car.
Hey, it might even sing you a song.
Oh, that would be nice, right, John?
Yeah,
Or it might say, just as long as it's not a lullaby.
that's for sure.
Yeah. So, it's been great for me to get myself exposed to a different fintech, the coin exposed, because there's so many new things that's coming out that's going to make a huge difference in the world using the blockchain technology and the ecosystem that you mentioned. And being part of the Bitclub, it's going to give us that opportunity to work with some of these ecosystem, gadgets, ecosystem technology, ecosystem program that's going to be coming out.
Yeah.
It just doesn't stop at the
It was very impressive listening to you talk about the fact that the programmers and the people that are building these technologies are all talking to one another, and
Yes,
we have people that are talking to those people.
exactly.
So that's going to give us opportunities that we can put through the Bitclub to everybody who's a member of the Bitclub.
Exactly. They're constantly looking at this. So many new different technologies out there and new programs.
Mm-hmm.
Just recently, the guys from our, office, so our club, were in Middle East, a very technology-oriented country in the Middle East, and they were working with the whole new concept of blockchain technology. That was neat.
Well, it's certainly an exciting time. I mean, we're having exciting days with the market shakeouts. I'm looking forward to a really nice turnaround on this market at some point, and a healthy growth pattern so that everything goes along well. I mean, everybody was just kind of stunned by the way the value of the price was going up so fast. And so
It's adjusting itself.
yeah, sure. It's automatically taking care of weeding out the problems.
Yes, I think so.
Anyway.
And, for the people in the US, this is such a great opportunity because nobody knows about the Bitcoins. They're hearing the news about the Bitcoins, but not really understanding what it is and what it's going to do in the near future. This is a perfect time to get involved and get yourself situated in a home plate and get your players out there in the field and create your ball game, because you're going to be hitting home runs very soon.
What's really exciting is that the people that are coming in now don't necessarily have to know the guys that are going to come in and build these teams down the road. They just need to get it started.
Absolutely.
And somebody else will pick up the banner. Somebody else more technologically oriented or in those groups will start bringing people in, and we'll be able to ride that wave all the way up because we're the first.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
nice to be a first, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, unless you're USI, they were the first to be hit by the SEC, so there's going to be more coming.
Oops. Yes, it is, isn't it? But yeah, truly. And another thing is that if anyone is interested, there's going to be another trip over to Iceland coming up, and it's towards the end of February. So you guys might want to, set yourself up and make yourself a goal to go to the Iceland to take a look at the mining facilities.
All right. Well, you guys have heard it, so get ready to go.
Sounds like a plan. Can you give us a little update on what's happening in Korea and the CoinPay system that they rolled out?
Well, it was introduced in Korea. CoinPay has been active for over 30 days now for the one particular busy company and had no errors so far with the CoinPay. And it was introduced in Korea basically because of the large audience that they had there, explaining how the program works and how the system works. That includes the $350, $399 or $350, right in that range to register yourself as a, commercial business in a CoinPay. And that seems to be a little bit high, but that's a lifetime of advertisement because what happens then is your information for your restaurants or your dry cleaners or your car wash or whatever the business is goes into the system. And any of the million people that we have in the Bitclub goes in there and search for someone in that particular business or industry, your name will come up. So it gives you the constant exposure to the people
Worldwide.
worldwide. And this is an exciting time because do you know how many people visit U.S. from the worldwide from different countries? You know, for that matter, South America or Europe, you get people visiting all the time. And guess what? The people who's got the Bitcoins, they want to go to the place where they could spend the Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's a big club members, they want to go places where they could get a discount for being a club member.
With the club coin.
Club coins, exactly.
Right.
So it is great concept, and it is coming out in January. Right now, they're in the stage where they are getting all the videos and all the documents translated into a different languages. And that should be rolling out very quickly here.
That is so awesome. And, you know, I used to pay a fortune in advertising when I had my businesses. So to be able to have worldwide advertising, oh my goodness, that is incredible.
It is, isn't it? Because even a yellow page, do you remember how much it costs to advertise in a yellow page?
Yes,
Oh,
I
yes,
do.
I do.
You know?
Yes, yes.
It was like $300 just to get your name in bold letter.
Yeah, yeah. And
So,
that was per quarter, I think. I mean, it was really pricey.
so, you know, compared to that, it's going to be very inexpensive. And then also the way that commission is going to be paid out for every transaction for the person who introduced that business or the commercial businesses there, they will be able to collect commissions and the people will love it. So if you have a large organization now, it could be a very good gold mine for you. And if you are just getting started, it's time for you to start going out there and get some people in your organization, because every person that you have in your organization who goes out and get the business, you're going to get portion of that commission for every transaction. Can you imagine if it was a restaurant that's doing 1,000, 2,000 people a day?
I'm thinking Starbucks.
Yeah, and 10% of those customers decide to use a different coins, whether if it's a Bitcoin, Litecoins, or Monero, and they're using that transaction, you're getting commission on that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we can't even fathom how big this is going to be. I mean, worldwide, every business on the face of the planet. Go get them, team.
Yeah,
Lindy,
You
I'm
know?
thinking that this is a very easy way for people to go out and introduce a merchant to this program.
yes, it is. Isn't it?
They're not going to turn you away. They're going to listen to you, right?
Because it is a feature that you can't refuse.
And that leads them right into an invitation to join the Big Club, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, because that could be part of their retirements.
You bet.
And also, it's a safety net for the businesses where they have ups and downs or seasonal.
Sure.
It create a safety net for them.
Yes.
No, I think the future is extremely bright for us, and we just have to get out and tell that message a little bit more, a little bit faster, and a little bit stronger. All there is to it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Then I'm going to have to be out there and just start speaking louder and as much as possible.
Yep.
And then people hear.
Well, you know, we got plans to do that for sure. There's no doubt about
Definitely. John, we need to go out there, and Kathy, we need to go out there and start singing.
it. Well, we need a jingle. Come on, CoinPay's got to have a jingle.
There you go. All year round.
Oh, let's stick Heather on that. She's the musician here.
Cool.
Hey, we need a country
can
music jingle. That's what we want.
Can we open it up for questions? Does anybody have any questions for Andy? I mean, it's such a pleasure to have you back home and with us. It's an honor.
Well, we talk about Andy all the time, you guys. Here he is.
Oh, no.
We talk about you.
Oh, no.
It's all good. All great.
Yeah, but I think people were beginning to wonder if Andy was a real person, you know.
No, it's fake.
You're a figment of our imagination.
Oh, yeah. This is LA. You could be an actor, couldn't you?
There you go.
Well, so get that started.
Yeah.
So,
Well, nobody's got any questions, I guess. Andy, thanks for coming. I appreciate it very much.
oh, absolutely.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
And
I
I
would-
really appreciate the hospitality you show everybody, because they can come to the office and they can meet you down there, and we can also meet others that are involved in LA area.
Definitely.
So, you guys, come on down.
Yes, and let's start planning something in Los Angeles. Let's start having some meetings, guys.
We sure want to do it.
Yes, sir.
Will you be in the country for a while then?
Yes, at least for 3 weeks.
Oh, you are just a globetrotter, aren't you?
You sure?
How many countries did you just appear in?
And this last trip was 3 countries.
Yes. How many meetings did you do? I'm surprised you have a voice left.
um, in Korea, I had the 2 leadership meetings. And in Japan, I was there for 7 days and I had 2 meetings per day. Then
Wow.
in Philippines, I was there in 4 different cities, having 2 meetings in each city.
Wow.
I think people need to hear how you're presenting this to people over there too, because you really are just talking about the future. You're talking about retirement, right? You're talking about a
Oh, definitely.
long-term
That's about it.
program,
That's it.
financial security.
Exactly.
We're not talking about investing in the Bitcoin as much as we are talking about it as a means to secure your financial future.
Exactly. That's all I talk about.
Hmm. Well, that's certainly down my alley. So we certainly can talk about more and more about that.
And I'm starting, I'm talking about the financial freedom from the retirements, but I'm starting to get a lot of new young people in each one of these countries. And they're coming in and saying that, we're planning to have a baby very soon, and we want to plan for that. We want to plan for the baby's future. And I'm running into the people that's coming in, the young people saying, I have a 5 years old, 10 years old, first grade, second grade, and we're worried about their future. How are we going to put them through the school? And these are the people that's really joining us.
Do you know that the basic times that people think about finances is when they're getting married, they're having children. This is why there's such a baby market in the life insurance business, because people are thinking about securing the family, right? Then you've got to think about when they're entering college and school, or the other one is a move. Anytime somebody buys and sells a house and moves to another location, they are thinking about their finances again, looking at the whole picture. And those are real good opportunities to talk to people about at those point of time. But I think CoinPay really is going to be the key, because all these business owners look at the turmoil that's coming from the finance side, just with the US dollar collapse that's coming. We're right here in the middle, in the forefront now, and we're in the period of education. We've got to get out there and start talking to people, because we're already seeing it here in terms of our team. Because when we were involved in one of those little shiny programs that disappeared, everybody scattered to the winds, and now we're beginning to have people come back and talk to us because they've gone out there and they've seen the landscape and they don't like it.
That is great, because we are solid and we're going to be around. We are increasing our, petahash hash rates. I mean, we're going to be at the end of the February, will be 1.6 exahash.
They're going to get the 6 in too? I thought it was just going to the 1. So they're going to be able to get it all in, huh?
Well, they got additional 500 petahash secured.
Wow. Well, that's great.
And
glad to hear it.
Can you break down petahash for us real quick, like you do, because you do it so well?
It's well, we're going back to the giga, and a gig 1,000 times a giga is tera, and 1,000 times a tera is hash, and 1,000 times a hash is a petahash. So it's it's a multiplication of thousands on each levels.
So 1,000 times a petahash is an exahash.
Yes.
So we're going to have 1.6 exahash.
Yes.
Okay.
And if you do a Google search on Google on their hash rates on the internet, and they're running around the 75 petahash.
Oh, they went up. Okay.
Yes, they have.
Amazing.
But it's still petahash, 75 petahash per second. Wow. So we are much faster.
Hey, listen, I sure like that video that you showed with the McDonald's. They were pressing the buttons. There were no clerks. Yes. That'd be a nice thing to have. I don't think
I passed through Vail last weekend, and that's the way their McDonald's is too. You just go in, you put your order in, and it's amazing. It's like all the people are gone.
Yes, it's happening because the minimum wages are going up, and mama and papa operations and the franchise, who just have a very small margin of profit, they have to survive. And the only way they're going to survive is by cutting back on, employment.
Right.
Okay, we have Miss Heather here from Portugal.
Hey,
Hey,
I'm here.
all right. She said, John, she said she could write a jingle. We would have to discuss it in detail. Go
Yep.
ahead.
Wow.
We can do that really easy peasy. That's our job. So
That'd be great.
yeah, we can do that. How does you sing it, Steve, for a second?
Simple and easy with my company.
Simple and easy with my coin pay.
That is awesome.
Something like that with a couple, some a bit of music behind, and there you go. And each time someone goes bing on the dot, it goes simple and easy with my coin pay.
That'll work. That's great.
So yeah, we were just sitting here listening, and that came to Steve. So there you go. Just sometimes connecting the dots, and it happens. So
Okay.
All
Well,
right. Thank you, Steve. We appreciate your help here.
Andy, maybe you can
What's
sell
up? It's
that.
my pleasure.
Maybe you can sell that to Bitclub.
There you go.
yeah,
Yeah, because CoinPay is coming up very soon.
he'll make it and send it to you. He'll see how you guys like it.
Okay.
That'll be
All right.
done.
Did you have some other questions for Andy?
Yes, I did have another question for. Well, I had a couple of other questions for Andy. Could he speak to us and tell us a bit more about what the new site is going to have, what the new features are going to be, and eventually when it's going to come back online?
Yes, it's supposed to come back online sometime during today. Part of the reason why it's taking a little bit more time than they anticipated is because the complication and sophistication of the hacking that's going on right now in the Bitcoin world or in the cryptocurrency world. Most of the complicated, sophisticated hacking is done by the North Koreans, going through the Russian VPN. And what they are doing is injecting a Trojan horse, and that is coming in from the inside out.
How
And
wonderful.
yep, and that's where the some of the exchange in South Korea has been hit from the inside. It looks like it's an internal job, but it's really not an internal job. But it was because of the injection that was done by the North Koreans, and that's how they've been stealing Bitcoins. And so what we're trying to do with our site is make sure that we have all of our firewalls updated, and at the same time, we're putting up a mouse traps. In other words, we're creating these traps so that anytime anyone is trying to inject something into the system, is that it will shut down the walls in that particular area and notifies the programmers.
Yeah, you're putting him in some kind of a maze.
Exactly. And at the same time, the upgrade-wise, they are putting in so much upgrade. It's going to be interesting for you to see. It's almost like what we had, for example, with the organizational chart. It was a little bit difficult to read. And also, you can't see much of the charts. But with the new chart that you're going to see, is a little bit more detailed. And you'll be able to contact some of the people in the organization via the emails and also through the through the back office. And also have the few other features in there for the future. It's, because we are going into so many different things in 2018, next year, they are creating the, immediate, I guess you could say, the programming set in the system now, so that when we do have these upgrades that's coming up in 2018, is that they could immediately flip the switch and turn it on.
Awesome.
Okay, yeah, so the profiting from the downage to really improve the system. I wouldn't put the percentage because it's too big, but really to improve the system for all of us.
Yep, and because of the CoinPay would be instant transactions, right, and instantaneous, and depending on who you are and how many people you have in your downline, it could be going dinging all day long. So they have to be able to have that.
I like that. That'll make my music happy.
Yes, it does, doesn't it? Can you imagine? If you had people globally all over the world and it's going to go ding dong all day long. But at the same time, what that means is the calculation has to be done. And depending on whose organization and where it's at, the calculation could be hundreds of people or thousands of people. So all that mathematical calculation equation have to be set to do the systems. So all that's been installed. And also the binary side of it, they are improving the binary side of it on the calculation and the points because when you have too many people at the same time, it slows down. Up to now, it was slowing down on the calculations. So all that is being improved.
Cool. Well, thank you. That's great news. Thank you very much. Wow.
Very good. Very
Bravo.
good.
Yeah,
So
and while we're speaking about that, I do have another question, and that I don't know if maybe I'm the only one or some others are having this, encountering the same, is that I have certain of my $500 pools that bring a certain amount of Bitcoin mining when you're at 100% or 50%, which is the same, and other pools at 500 that bring in 1 0 less. Ah, did I lose you guys?
No, I'm here. I can
Oh,
hear you.
okay.
Yeah, I'm here too. I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
I think
Yeah.
kind of the things that we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Heather, I'm going to be doing a class on all that.
Okay.
We were talking about a lot of things when I went in there this time, and we got very much involved in how everything was processed and how it's handled, why the numbers work the way they do sometimes. And
Yeah.
so we're going to be going into a training on that, and we're also going to be going into a training more about building your teams and how you actually build your rank so that you can generate increased funding faster.
Okay.
So I'm still getting all that squared away in my own head a little bit, but I pretty much have it down, and we'll start talking about that.
Yeah, with pleasure, because it's just a question for understanding. Once you have the whys and the wheres and how it's orchestrated, then you don't have to worry about where the 0 has disappeared and why and when it'll come back and what's going on. That's all. Just
Sure.
simple, basic stuff. But once you know, you don't get worried and you don't
Right.
have the question mark or red light coming on here or there. It's just simple, easy, basic stuff.
Right, but this is not a discussion you're going to want to have with people when you first meet them.
Of course not. But the people in here, to my understanding tonight, Kathy asked if there were any guests, and apparently we're all part of Bitclub Network. So, no, I don't want to scare anyone out of here. No, don't go anywhere. Stay here. You're a great place. You heard
There's a lot of new people sometimes that come on. They don't tell us they're new. They just show up and they're quiet.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
well, and we're still trying to educate people about Bitcoin over here. What's a Bitcoin?
Yeah, what's the
So
Bitcoin?
we got to get out there and educate.
Yes. Well, thank you very much for all the answers, Andy. Truly appreciate
No problem. It was nice speaking to you.
Well, we'll get back to you with the music.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Whoa.
All right, we got to cut it. We're getting a little
Nice.
long here. We're never going to be able to get it up on the server if we don't do it. If we don't stop.
Well, thanks a million. Great job, guys. And we shall let you go. Wishing you all a Merry Christmas and speak to you in between Christmas and New Year's.
That
Hope
sounds
so.
fantastic. Thank you very much, Andy. We're so glad to have you here today. So we appreciate you very, very much.
Thank you very much, Kathy, and Merry Christmas to you all.
And Merry Christmas to you guys. And if you're traveling, watch all the crazies out there. Be safe and have a wonderful, wonderful holiday weekend.
You too. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Thanks for coming. Bye-bye.